There's a quiet truth many people don't talk about. After 70, who you live with can either extend your life or quietly wear it down. It's not dramatic, it's real, and it's backed by both science and experience. You see, as we get older, our emotional and physical needs become more intertwined than ever. Peace, safety, and connection aren't luxuries. They're lifelines. The people you surround yourself with don't just fill space, they shape your spirit. This isn't just about splitting bills or sharing a roof. It's about preserving your joy, protecting your energy, and building a life that still feels meaningful. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 kinds of people that seniors over 70 might want to consider living with, or at least keeping close. These aren't just helpful types. These are the people who can bring out the very best in your later years. Let's begin with number 1, the one who notices. 1. The one who notices. This is the kind of person who sees what others miss. They notice when you're a little quieter than usual. They catch when your favorite sweater hasn't been worn in a while, or when your tea mug sits untouched. They observe, not to judge, but to care. After 70, many people feel like they start to disappear. Not in a dramatic way, but in those small, painful silences. The phone calls that stop, the doctor who rushes through, the adult children too busy to ask how your morning was. The one who notices brings you back into the light. I remember meeting a woman named Gloria, 79 years old. She lived with her godson, Marcus, a busy school teacher. But despite his schedule, Marcus had a way of tuning in. If Gloria skipped her walk, he'd ask, "Was it too cold today or just not feeling it?" If she hummed an old tune while cooking, he'd ask what memory it reminded her of. That kind of attention does more than feel good. It's life-giving. Studies show that seniors who feel acknowledged and emotionally seen experience less loneliness, better sleep, and stronger immune function. Why? Because feeling invisible wears the body down. Being noticed, on the other hand, reminds you, you still matter. So ask yourself, is there someone in your life who notices the small shifts in you, not out of obligation, but love? And if not, could you welcome someone like that into your space? 2. The steady encourager. Let's talk about someone truly special, the person who reminds you what you're still capable of. The steady encourager doesn't try to reinvent your life. They don't flood you with pep talks or push you beyond comfort. Instead, they offer gentle nudges, quiet belief, and consistent reminders that you still have purpose. I once met Luis, a 74-year-old jazz pianist who hadn't played in years after arthritis took hold of his fingers. He lived with his daughter's partner, Talia, a writer who barely knew jazz. But one day, she heard an old recording of him playing. The next week, she brought home a small keyboard and asked if he'd teach her a few notes. "I'm rusty," he warned. "I don't care," she smiled. "I just want to hear your sound again." 2 months later, Luis was playing with more confidence than he had in a decade. Not for a crowd, not for a paycheck, just for himself, and the joy of being encouraged. Here's the science. Hope is healing. Older adults who feel expected to still grow, still create, still matter. They live longer and report greater satisfaction. The steady encourager helps you see yourself through kinder eyes. They don't just see who you were. They believe in who you still are. Ask yourself, who makes you feel like life isn't behind you, but still unfolding? That's someone worth keeping close. 3. The calming presence. 740. There's a kind of peace that only comes from being near someone who asks nothing from you. Not words, not performance, not explanations. Just quiet, comfortable presence. This is the calming presence. They might not say much, but when they enter a room, something in your chest lets go. Your breathing slows. Your thoughts soften. As we age, we don't always want to be entertained. We want to be safe, be still, be steady. For some, this calming presence is a longtime friend. For others, it's a gentle neighbor or even a grandchild with a peaceful soul. And for many, it's a beloved pet curled at your feet. I knew a man named Darnell, 81, who moved in with his nephew Jonah after a hip surgery. Jonah wasn't talkative. He was quiet, a bit awkward even, but every evening he'd bring Darnell tea and sit beside him watching old westerns. No questions, no fuss, just presence. Darnell told me, "We don't talk much, but I've never felt more at ease. Living with someone who radiates calm is like living next to a still lake. It balances your spirit. In fact, seniors in peaceful environments have lower cortisol levels, better digestion, and less insomnia. So if you find someone who brings you peace simply by existing, value them. Because as the world gets noisier, peace becomes a kind of wealth." The practical companion. Now let's talk about someone who often goes unnoticed, but makes all the difference. The practical companion. They're the ones who change the batteries in your smoke alarm, who remind you your prescription's running low, who organize your files or drive you to the podiatrist without making it a big deal. They don't show love through hugs or poems, they show it through action. As we grow older, everyday tasks can become daily stressors. A cluttered drawer becomes overwhelming. A broken appliance becomes a source of anxiety. The practical companion doesn't just do the task, they lift the weight from your shoulders. Let's take May, 84, who lives with her neighbor's daughter, Nina. Nina isn't family, she's not a nurse, but she stops by every afternoon after work. She refills birdseed, helps with tech issues, even sharpens May's kitchen knives. Little things. May told me, "It's not that I can't do it all, I just don't have to anymore. And that makes me feel stronger, not weaker." That's the beauty of the practical companion. They don't take your independence, they protect it by helping you use your energy where it matters most. It's not glamorous, but it's deeply loving. 5. The uplifting spirit. Finally, let's meet the person whose very presence seems to brighten the room. The one who, even on hard days, helps you see a little more light. The uplifting spirit. They're not loud or unrealistic. They're the ones who, when the power goes out, say, "Well, candlelight dinner it is." Who laugh with you over small mistakes and help you see aging not as a loss, but as a transformation. Their superpower, perspective. I knew Agnes and Helen, two best friends in their 80s who chose to move in together after both were widowed. Helen had arthritis, Agnes had early-stage memory issues. But Helen once told me, "Every day she makes me laugh about something, even if it's just how we forgot where we parked again." Science has our back on this one too. Seniors exposed to regular optimism and humor show lower risk of depression, better cardiovascular health, and greater cognitive flexibility. It's not about ignoring reality, it's about choosing to find grace within it. So if there's someone who makes you breathe easier, someone who reminds you that life, even now, can still surprise you with joy, make space for them. Let them close. Final thoughts. As we grow older, our homes become more than shelter. They become the containers for our memories, our hopes, our healing. And who we share them with can either add to that richness or quietly erode it. So here's what I invite you to ask yourself. Who helps you feel seen instead of sidelined? Who helps you feel like you're still becoming, not just surviving? Who helps you exhale? The 5 people we've talked about today, the one who notices, the steady encourager, the calming presence, the practical companion, and the uplifting spirit, aren't just roommates, they're lifelines. If you already have someone like that in your life, hold them close, tell them. And if you don't, it's never too late to look around, reach out, or even open your home in a new way. Because at the end of the day, aging isn't a winding down, it's a deepening. And in this deeper chapter, the people beside you matter more than ever. If this video spoke to you, drop a comment below and let us know. Which of these 5 people do you have in your life? Or which one would you love to welcome in? If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and tap that bell so you don't miss future content that supports, honors, and empowers this amazing stage of life. Until next time, be well, be kind to yourself, and remember, you are still growing, still needed, and still deeply loved.